Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, today, to create an inward journey, you can investigate in your own life by asking yourself, why do I have a hard time dropping the mental struggle? Or why do I have a hard time dropping the mental fight? What's the reason behind prolonging the fight? If we investigate why we prolong the fight, it's going to help us to understand the nature of the mind. We see the root cause of the friction, and from there we will be able to drop the fight. Right now, what's happening in the world is, to drop the mental fight, we focus on something else so we don't have to deal with the fight, But when we focus on something for that period of time, you can, forget about it. But once your focus is done with that particular stuff, we are back to the same situation again. If you are not back to the same situation, something will occur in your life and the friction will build up. Because we are in the world where we have to participate with the people. And when we are participating with the people, most of the time, the fight comes in because of not able to work with our preference. When there's difference in a preference, the fight comes in. The outer world fight brings the fight within us as an idea, and from that idea we try to figure out or try to find a way to dominate the world or try to resolve the situation. Whatever we're doing is still a process to maintain the ego self. And the ego self don't want to give up. If we give up, that shows that we are weak, and we don't like the idea of weakness. So for that reason, we prolong the fight. We want to win the fight. And our culture is already teaching us, you have to be somebody, You have to bring out your best potential in you. Yes, in the relative sense, that's the growth. We need to have go through the natural growth. But seeking the natural growth, we are fighting so much. Our world is already conditioning, physically and mentally, with the movement, physical movement and the mental movement, that we have become this conditioning, which is about, become somebody. And that becoming somebody itself is, inviting the layers. That layer itself is an ego. We forget that this ego self is the role we are playing, the characters we are maintaining. And when we are maintaining this role, the character, we get so involved in it that we forget who we are. We just get lost in the role. And because of the role, the character, when the characters is so strong in us as a layer, that itself is an ego layer. And again, the ego doesn't want to give up. Ego want to maintain that I, that me, mine world. And especially when we conceptually know that we have to drop the mental fight to be in that ease, and this is where the contradiction comes in. one part of us want to be free because the world also emphasized that you have to give up the ego. But also there is a vast majority in the world influence us to be somebody. That becoming somebody and dropping the layer, becomes a fight in the person within. That's why, we are having a hard time to drop the mental fight. We are conditioned so much that the conditioning itself trigger us to, prolong the fight. The mental game is ongoing. So, in the beginning, it is hard to drop the fight, And in the beginning, I mentioned that to drop the mental fight, we are ignoring the issue and focusing on something else to forget the fight. That means we are running away from the situation. We are resisting the situation. Resisting itself is a fight. Escapism itself is the, fight. So the only way to, gracefully dissolve this mental fight is by investigate on why we are fighting, why we are prolonging this mental fight. What's the reason? When we ask why we are maintaining it, we see the reasons behind we see the reason behind prolonging the fight. We see the root cause of the fight. The root cause itself is a fear of uncertainty, fear of losing, fear of, death. Ultimately, fear of death. But death means being nobody. And when the world is emphasizing you gotta be somebody, fear, when we see the fear of being nobody, that being, fear of being nobody and somebody, again, is a contradiction. And that's where we have to follow back on our mind. Okay, where is this fear of being nobody, fear of uncertainty is coming from? When you go follow back, then we can go all the way to see the plain sight truth. When we investigate on our mind, investigating the mind itself gives us the understanding of the nature of the mind, how the mind works, and from there we can refine the game. We can participate, not to fight, but that's not enough, because the fight is always going to be there, because we have to be part of the world with the people. So how to not to fight is by going all the way back, investigating, reversing the mind to see the plain sight truth, and that's the way to ultimately drop the fight. Even when the fight emerges in the world, we catch ourselves right away. There's a conflict coming in, and we just stay center. We anchor as an awareness rather than playing getting lost in the role, the characters that we have picked up to represent ourselves in the world. So that's the thorough way to understand the mind and drop the mind. Rejecting the issue, denying the issue, and jumping into some other stuff to forget the issue is not the way to drop the mental fight. Okay, so if you're seeking to drop the mental fight, the mental struggle, you have to look into the struggle. Ask yourself, where is this struggle coming from? Where is this struggle coming from? Or why am I struggling? That where or why is going to lead you to the root cause. And again, you got to dismantle the root all the way, and that's the way to be free. Okay, that's spiritual freedom, my friend. Okay, Give that a go today. Look into your inner struggle, the mental fight, and work on it, and see how far you can trace it back. And you know, if you like what you're hearing, subscribe to this channel to follow more. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying the tracing back work. Yeah, that's all for today. Take care for now. Bye.